Timothy Bliefnick appeared on the game show The Family Feud in 2020. This episode became an instant hit when one of the questions asked by the host Steve Harvey was, "What's the biggest mistake you made at your wedding?" Before answering, Tim turned to make eye contact with his wife, Becky, stating, "Honey, I love you." He turned back to the game show host and gave the answer saying, "I do." The crowd erupted in laughter and loud gasps as Steve simply gave a blank stare. Steve explains to Tim if his answer is not on the board there would be hell for him to pay when he returned home. But fortunately for Tim his answer was number 2 on the board. Tim could be heard over the crowd saying, "Not my mistake. I love my wife." And just to give a little background information, Tim Bliefnick was born in Decatur, Illinois in 1983. He played football at Quincy University and later landed a job at Quincy Farm Products. Tim would later meet Becky Postle and they married in 2009 and had 3 children together. His wife Becky was an accomplished nurse at Blessing Hospital in Illinois. During the pandemic she worked as a travel nurse in Missouri. For this she was nominated for the Daisy Award for her work. Becky also volunteered her time in school organizations and animal rescue groups. On the afternoon of February 23, 2023, there was concern for Becky's well-being after her children were not picked up from school that afternoon. A family member of Becky's went to her home on Kentucky Road in Quincy to check on her where they discovered she had been shot and had succumbed to her injuries. Homicide investigators later revealed she had been shot 14 times. Becky was laid to rest on March 3, 2023. Her sister set up a GoFundMe campaign which raised $100,000+ for burial expenses in a matter of days. From the very beginning authorities had only one subject in mind. This was Becky's husband Tim, who she had filed divorce paperwork on in February of 2021. Investigators figured they were dealing with the result of domestic violence. Police caught up with Tim on March 1 and spoke to him as he was returning home. Tim was very cooperative with police, handing them the keys to his rental home and vehicle. Tim Bliefnick was arrested on March 13, 2023 and was charged with 2 counts of murder and 1 count of home invasion while causing injury. Tim pleaded not guilty to all of his charges. Tim's trial began May 22, 2023. During the proceedings the prosecutor pointed out that in the recent years before Becky's death she had sought an emergency restraining order against him with the reason being she needed protection from abuse and harassment. Her protection order was denied and following this Tim took out a restraining order on her which was also denied. And it's believed since much of the abuse was verbal and psychological that Becky's complaints were not taken as seriously as emotional abuse leaves no visible wounds. Another point was made that it is virtually impossible to obtain a protection order during a heated divorce. The prosecutor pointed out that this is a failing in the legal system. The judge that presided over the protection order was Judge Robert Adrian, was asked by a local news source for an interview but he declined. Tim's lawyer would counter by stating requesting a restraining order is a very common game played amongst divorcing couples, especially before rules regarding parenting and other matters have not yet been addressed. During court it was revealed in September the month before Becky asked for a restraining order that she had texted her sister stating she was scared of Tim and that a coworker had been killed by an estranged partner. This was the first time that Becky realized she may be in real danger. 3 months after the trial on August 11, 2023. Tim Bliefnick was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. The judge told Tim he planned the murder, he practiced the murder, and that he broke into Becky's home and shot her 14 times. What do you think about this story? Do you feel like laws should be stiffer to protect citizens in domestic violence situations? Please leave a comment.